Hi everyone, it's Kimberly and welcome to my channel. For those of you who are just newly finding the channel, which you might through this video, I am a soul coach and intuitive advisor. But I'm not here to give you intuitive advice today. I'm here to tell you about my healing journey. So those of you who are my current subscribers, stay tuned and listen because this has a lot to do with high vibrational living, ascension, coming into our own healing energy. So I want to share with you my journey over the past year. But I'll start out by saying that I've always been a very healthy person, right? Healthy as someone would look healthy from outwardly, right? So I, for most of my life, have not believed in taking medicine, okay? So since I was about a teenager, I decided I don't want to do medicine. I don't want to do pills, prescriptions, no birth control, nothing. I just sort of instinctually knew that that didn't resonate with me. But every, year or so, I would get a sinus infection or a urinary tract infection. And I would end up taking a dose of antibiotics. Now, this was based on fear. I grew up in a household in which my mom was really caught in that, which a lot of our parents are really caught in that fear-based thinking around medicine. It's just like, it's what you're taught. It's what society programs into you. It's like, you're sick, go to the doctor, get medicine. I grew up hearing, you can't let that sinus infection go, that you might die or it's going to spread in your brain. And that can very well happen. But again, there was just a lot of fear around it. It's like, go now, go quickly, go to the doctor, get the medicine, then you'll be better. So as I grew into my adult years, I knew I didn't want to be taking it. I just didn't feel like there was another. I was desperate. I was getting, maybe once a year, getting an infection of some sort and still not able to wean myself off of that. So I would say maybe I would say 6 or 7 years ago now, I had some other health stuff come up and it forced me to look at everything. And I said, from this point forward, I'm not doing antibiotics. I'm just not. And I looked at my diet and I started eating all organically. So that's when I went all organic. It was about like 6 or 7 years ago. And do I deviate from time to time? Sure. We go to restaurants. We don't eat organic. But for the most part, when I buy groceries, it's all organic. I don't buy, GMO food. I don't buy pesticides. It's just been something I've been able to adapt in my life. And I feel fortunate to have done that. So those health issues at that time were not anything chronic. It was just something that was like, it was discovered, it needed to be healed, and then it was healed and then done. Okay, so fast forward, here we are 6-7 years later. I've been all organic. I'm a healer. I'm a teacher. I live the life. Let me also tell you that I, for most of my life, have been an athlete and a dancer. Okay, I have a degree in dance. As an adult, I've taught Pilates and fitness and dance. I run, I walk, I'm a gym rat. Like, I love working out. I love being active. You would look at me outwardly and be like, wow, she's such a healthy person. I also love to cook, and I've been working on a high vibrational cookbook, right? So here I am, a teacher, a healer, and an athlete, and someone who's really healthy, seemingly healthy from the outside in, who my friends look up to and like emulate, some of the things that I do with my diet and the way I care for myself. So about 1 year ago, I developed, let's say about 3 years ago, I started getting on and off eczema on my arms. So bad that each time it would come in blotches and spotches, and I didn't know enough about eczema at that time. I thought it was a dry skin. I didn't know that it was like an autoimmune reaction that my body was having. So I didn't really look to my diet. I just was putting lotions on to try to heal it. And each time I would have a bout of this, I went to the dermatologist, and the dermatologist wanted to give me a topical steroid. I remember doing it for a few weeks and then thinking, this doesn't feel good to me. I don't want to be doing a steroid, not even topical. And I began reading more, and I, again, didn't have a lot of information. So I let it come and go over a course of a couple of years. I would have bouts, it would come and go. But in the course of that happening, it was happening only on my arms. It wouldn't happen, thankfully, on my legs or anywhere else. It was just my arms. But each time it would go, it would leave my skin severely depigmented. So I don't know if you can see because the lighting's not so good, but I actually look like I look like a leper. I have spots. So my arms are all permanently now depigmented. The dermatologist told me that once I healed the eczema, that the pigmentation would come back, and it has not. So that was off and on. It wasn't, it would come on like kind of severe, and then it would leave my skin depigmented. But it's your arms. You can like deal with it. It's not the greatest scenario, but it didn't cause me to go like way deep into my healing because like I could kind of live with it. So fast forward to, let's say, last year at this time. Last year at this time, I started having eczema again. And along with that, I started having severe tearing in my eyes. I was getting dry over my eyelids. Okay. I was getting dry on my face. I was having the eczema on my arms, and I was severely tearing. My eyes were tearing so bad every day, all day, that it was embarrassing to be out in public. People would be looking at me as I walked through the grocery store, and it looked like I was sobbing. Not only that, but over time, when your eyes tear that much, your skin gets all dry because it's like having a cold, like a runny nose. You get all red. I was all chafed and all red and all dry, and there wasn't enough oils or lotions or anything in the world because my eyes were just constantly dripping. You can imagine trying to get work done, trying to function, trying to be out in public. It's embarrassing. Then the dryness was making me look aged. It was just, I'm normally a person that has pretty high self-esteem, and I just felt like I wanted to crawl under a rock. So I went to several eye specialists and doctors, and they sort of said, like, this is dry eye. Then I tried the things for the dry eye, and it didn't work. And then I'm like, my eyes don't feel dry. Like, I don't understand. And then I went to another specialist, and he said, have you ever had eczema? And I said, yeah. And he said, okay. He's like, this is either an allergy to something in your environment or something within you, or you're having some sort of an autoimmune response. So the latter really resonated with me because I thought, well, yeah, how could I have eczema and this? And he's saying it's connected. But nevertheless, I went on a rampage trying to figure out what could be causing an allergy in my eyes. From changing my cat's litter to changing beauty products to you're going totally homeopathic with my like health and cleaning products, to foods, elimination diets, like you name it, I tried everything. Finally, it just kind of cleared for a few months on its own, just a couple months, it cleared up. And it was more exacerbated when I was in a stressful time. So I was going through quite a bit of stress in my personal life. And so I think it was exacerbating it and making it worse, right? So I had no answers. All I knew is it just cleared up. I thought it was gone forever. And there was no explanation. Maybe it was, I kept thinking maybe it was pine pollen or something like that. Like, well, maybe because the weather changed, we closed the windows. So mystery symptoms, mystery, don't know. The eye doctor said even if you went to an allergist, they probably wouldn't be able to pinpoint exactly what's causing this because it's probably something that you have an intolerance to or where your body's attacking itself for some reason because there's inflammation or there's something that's being released that your body is recognizing as foreign. So there I was, no answers, but I had momentary relief. So I went on about my life. I was like, thank God, this is over. Hallelujah. Never resolved the eczema. Just assumed the eye thing wouldn't come back. I thought I was scot-free. So I went through a breakup in December and I moved. And it was stressful. It was very stressful. And so I get through the move and I'm healing from the breakup and I'm in my new life and I'm thinking, oh, good. Everything's going to be peachy keen now, right? This is great. I get to heal and move on with my life. No. I had the worst outbreaks of all of these symptoms coupled or paired with other symptoms. Come January, by January 1st, I had eczema all over my arms and all over my face. So bad that my face was one big scaly mess. All over my eyes. My eyes started dripping tears, not just dripping, streaming tears uncontrollably all day long, every day. You can imagine my frustration. Then on top of this, it's coupled with, I started having like an overactive bladder. And I started feeling like having like mild urinary incontinence. And I'm sorry if that's too much information, but what I want to tell you is that I knew there's no way that these symptoms weren't all related, right? There's no way I could be having a flare-up of all of this at once. But when you're having stuff in your bladder and you're having skin stuff all over your face and all over your arms and you're having your eyes dripping tears and you're like in the midst of a health crisis. And so I just felt like I was in such a catch-22 because I knew there was no way I'm taking medicine regardless. I've already known that, steroids don't work, eye drops don't work. I'm not taking antibiotics. I don't want to go on antihistamine. I've tried taking random antihistamines. It hasn't even worked for me. So there I am again, going through my health and beauty products. And come January, I decided I'm going to go on an autoimmune paleo diet. So I went on basically an elimination diet. And I cut out gluten, which I really had been cutting. I had been cutting that out for several years, but I wouldn't say I was gluten-free 100%. So this took me to a new height where I went gluten-free. Then I went dairy-free, nut-free, and legume-free. Because I'm like a borderline vegan, and so I would eat a lot of legumes, chickpeas, things like that. So I went legume-free, dairy-free, egg-free too. So I used to eat egg whites. So no eggs, no dairy, no gluten, no nuts, no legumes. Then I took out nightshade vegetables. I took out spices. I took out anything for a month that could have potentially been an allergen. I took out coffee. I took out chocolate, cocoa. I took out all of it. And I ate pretty much vegetables. I'd have like intermittent protein or bone broth or whatever. And during that time, I stumbled upon Anthony William, I'm sorry, is his name. And he's the medical medium. So I'm assuming that maybe if you're watching this video, you guys have heard of him or you know about celery juice. So I started listening to these recovery stories and I'm like, oh my God, I have eczema. All these people are healing from eczema, acne, autoimmune disease. And I'm like, this is worth a try for me. Like, I'm so dedicated to this. I just did this crazy elimination diet, or I was doing this crazy elimination diet. How hard would it be to drink celery juice in the morning? Although it wasn't very appealing when I first thought about it. So I was like, shit, how am I going to do this? I'm been spending a ton of money on special diets, special groceries, like doing like the special household cleaners, throwing the shit away, throwing lotions away, throwing this trial and error. I mean, you go through so much trying to figure it out, right? And I'm intuitive, and I couldn't believe that intuitively I didn't know what was happening with my body. So I was like, okay, how am I going to do this? So I started to read about those success stories, read about their, and I bought his book, Liver Rescue. But before I bought the book, I started celery juicing. And I found a girl on YouTube who showed me how to do it from my food processor. And it's really, anyone can celery juice. You don't need a fancy juicer. You don't. You could get a masticating juicer that separates the pulp from the juice, or you could have like a Vitamix juicer or like a NutriBullet in which you would strain out the juice. Or you can do it in a food processor, which is a simple shred, chop process. And then I actually strain it in a mesh strainer. So I began doing that, and it wasn't palatable to me. First week or so, I felt like I missed coffee. I felt like I did not want to drink celery juice in the morning. And I don't mind celery juice. I like it. It's kind of salty. But who wants it in the morning, right? That's how I felt then. I feel much differently now, but I'm getting to that. So I started doing it in my food processor. The process, all in all, each morning, at first, yep, it's kind of a pain. You know, it takes 10 minutes to chop and shred, chop it all up, wash it, shred it, chop it in the food processor. Then you're straining for another 10 minutes. Then you're drinking for another 10 minutes. And you're washing everything up for another 5 or so minutes. So you're looking at like a 35-minute process, right? And I can't say it would be that much quicker in a juicer because juicers take a while to clean, right? But I think most people have the process down to about between 20, drinking it and all and cleaning up and getting it prepared between 20 minutes and 35 minutes. And so as I have continued to do this, it's become much easier. It's become so easy. It's part of my morning routine. It's no big deal anymore. I look forward to it. I might get a juicer, I might not. I'm fine doing it in the processor. It works great. So if you guys don't know about celery juice, here's the thing. So I went and I was doing 8 to 10 ounces a day, which wasn't enough, but it was a start. And I read Anthony William, I read his liver rescue book, and I'm reading, and I'm like, this makes perfect sense to me. I had an upbringing in which my nervous system was always on overload. I was in a dysfunctional household. I was the little empath running around to band-aid the household. I always had a nervous tummy, butterflies, pit in my stomach, picking up on everyone else's energy. In my adult years, went into toxic relationships that wreaked havoc on my nervous system. I started to notice in my 30s that when I would drink alcohol, I would get like even a little tiny bit of wine or a glass of wine. I started to have a decreased tolerance. And yeah, I'm pretty small, but there was no reason for me to feel like shit the next day. I would drink wine, a glass of wine, not even a lot, and feel horrible. And I think to myself, why am I so hungover? Why can't I handle alcohol anymore? It must be that I'm so pure that I eat so good. And no, that's not what it was. Because as I was reading and listening to the medical medium, I'm finding out that like that is actually a symptom of someone whose liver is very toxified. So how does our liver get toxified? Through our environmental pollutants, okay? Through years of antibiotics when I was a kid, right? The heavy metals, the pollutants in our system, they build up. And I was someone that, like I said, my mom would run to the doctor and do the antibiotics. So there were many, 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 many years of that until I decided no more for me, until I started like making my own elixirs and healers and healing, self-healing. So think about that. All of a sudden it started to click. Then I started to look at all the symptoms I was having, the eczema and, these mystery symptoms. Even I got in January or December when I was going through all of this, I had about a Raynaud syndrome in which my fingers kept losing the blood or the circulation. Just random stuff, crazy stuff that someone who's healthy shouldn't be going through. And it was extremely uncomfortable. It squashed my self-esteem. It was miserable to live in for these past few months. So I start celery juicing every day. I start also now adopting the liver rescue foods. So I sort of keeping myself gluten-free, legume-free, dairy-free, all of that, nut-free. But I'm adding back in the things that Anthony William is saying it's perfectly fine, like tomatoes and nightshades and, like the things that, are actually good for your liver. So I'm learning now, I learned what foods support your liver, like wild blueberries and cucumber. And I started experimenting with all these healthy recipes of these. When I go to the store now, I only buy liver rescue ingredients. Apples, applesauce, all organic, blueberries, bananas, mangoes, cucumbers, tomatoes, basil, arugula, asparagus, Brussels sprouts, sweet potatoes. I've learned how to bake with sweet potatoes, avocado, banana. I can make almost like paleo muffins with dates lots of dates, no sugar. Oh yeah, I also cut out sugar. And I have found a whole new way of eating, and it really resonates for me. And I know you guys are thinking, like, who can live on that? But I'll tell you, I've been inventing recipes, and it's been great. I still have meat from time to time, but not a lot, because I'm not a big meat eater, but I do listen to my body when it needs it. So here I am. I'm doing 8 to 10 ounces of celery juice a day, and I am, doing this. I went from autoimmune paleo into more liver rescue diet. And I'm like, yeah, this is going to do it. So I saw my eczema clear up. I did, but my eyes never stopped tearing. And then I kind of went off the celery juice for like a week. And in that week, I cheated a little bit, had like I had something with like a gluten wrap. And I don't know, I just was like, yeah, I'll just drink coffee in the morning. What's a big deal? That wasn't doing a lot for me anyhow, was it? Did it really clear my eczema? You start telling yourself all this stuff. So, end of that week, guess what? My eczema came back on my face, on my eyes, and my eyes were still tearing. I'm like, what the heck? Some little voice inside of me was going, you've got to do more celery juice. You've got to go back to this. You've got to go back to the way you were eating. You've got to follow this liver rescue protocol. So I did. I went all the way in. I started drinking 16 to 24 ounces of celery juice a day. And I also channeled that I was not drinking enough water. This whole bout with my eyes had caused me to stop exercising. So that's what I meant to tell you guys, that I stopped exercising for about 6 months, which is unheard of. I've never stopped exercising in my whole life. I've been exercising, working out, athletic, dancing since I was like 3. So that's how crappy I was feeling. I couldn't do my normal activities. And it's not about vanity. It's about like the stuff that makes you feel good. It's like your life force energy. That stuff that gave me endorphins and made me feel good. I didn't even want to do it. I was uninspired. I felt miserable with the tears, with my bladder, with the eczema. I was self-conscious. So I started doing 16 ounces of celery juice a day and continuing on with liver rescue protocol, keeping the gluten, nuts, legumes, dairy, eggs out of my diet, and learning now how to cook and bake in a new way. So now I've got all these yummy recipes, these go-to things. I'm cooking like even healthier than I was before, which I didn't know that there was another level of healthy. And I started drinking tons of water because I realized that between not exercising, which was usually the thing that got me to drink a lot of water, and all the stress I had been through, I hadn't been drinking enough water. So I started just gouging down the water, really high vibrational water, just drinking tons of water, 16, 24 ounces of celery juice a day. And you know what? Everything healed. It's gone. It's like my eyes are clear. This is the first time in months I've been able to wear top eyeliner and bottom eyeliner and mascara and keep it on. So I'm a YouTuber, so I would partially put the makeup on just to get through my videos. And then I would have to go wash it off right away because my eyes would get so irritated. It's gone. I don't even have a single tear. I'm able to go out and live my life. My hair is growing. My hair is so shiny and healthy. It's growing like a weed. I had cut my hair a while ago. I think it's grown like 2 to 3 inches in about like a month and a half time. Seriously. This is celery juice. My skin is clear. I have one little blemish right here, but other than that, my skin is so soft. There's nothing dry. There's no eczema. There's no trace of eczema. My arms have healed. Yes, I have spots, and I'm going to have to live with that. But that's just from that. Those are battle scars. That's just a reminder of what I've been through, right? And that it's just a reminder that when you follow a homeopathic protocol, when you're healing yourself, when you're finding the resources, when you're finding what resonates for you, you've got to give it time, and you've got to do it all the way. You've got to go all the way in. You've got to make the commitment to yourself. Was it a pain in the butt to cook only whole foods, to never be able to go to the cabinet and just grab something to munch or to just grab and go? Yeah, I just spent 2 to 3 months cooking only whole foods every single day. That takes time to chop the vegetables and be chopping and baking. I'm using my oven more than I ever have. Celery juicing 35 minutes in the morning. I mean, come on. And you might be thinking, who has time to do this? You do. You do, because at what cost do you not have time to do it? Are you going to keep throwing medicine as quick fixes for your symptoms, or do you really want to heal at the root of it? Because I have more energy and vitality today. I don't miss my coffee. I let myself have coffee from time to time, but I don't miss it. Celery juice is amazing. I have healed. I am living proof that I have healed, and I was in the darkness of despair. I was having crazy mystery symptoms. I was suffering. I stopped exercising. I stopped going out. I was embarrassed to go into stores. Like, it was running my life, and I just knew I wasn't going to take medicine for it or throw medicine at a symptom. So believe that you can self-heal. Your body is capable of healing. Lean on Anthony William and his medical medium protocols and the books. Read the books. I'm telling you, this is not a fad. It's not like it's not like one of these other things. Oh, try this. Oh, try that. There's so much conflicting advice out there. And you try this. Oh, do that. Oh, gluten-free. Oh, no. This makes sense. This is a way of living. This is a way of being. Because what you learn through his books is you learn. I'm not paid by him, by the way. I'm not. I'm just someone who is just in awe of my own healing. And I feel proud of myself that I stuck with it, because I knew I had people chirping in my ear. My mom was like, you've got to go to an allergist. You've got to do this. Then. You've got to go here. Well, why don't you go to the doctor? My sister would say, you need to do this. How can you suffer like that? What's going to be? You know, like all this. And it's like I just had to go, no, I'm not. I made a first appointment with an allergist. I did, and I went, and she was very nice, and she heard me out. And she did a blood test. It came back and said, no, you don't have an allergy to anything. And then she was going to do a scratch test, and I called and I said, I'm not coming. I don't need to. I already healed myself. And they were like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I can stay allergy-free now and intolerance-free. I actually went out for the first time at night in months. Like, I haven't been having a social life, and I had also given up coffee, sugar, and alcohol completely. Not that I was a big drinker, but I would have a drink from time to time. And I think the last time I had a drink was on Thanksgiving of 2018. And this past weekend, which we are in March of 2019, I had my first drink since Thanksgiving prior. And guess what? I didn't feel drunk. I didn't get drunk. I didn't feel hungover the next day. I didn't feel anything because my liver has cleansed. And not that we want to toxify our livers again, but it just goes to show you that all those symptoms I was having before were a result of just this buildup inside of me. So will I ever stop doing celery juice? Probably not. Will I deviate from this elimination where I've eliminated like eggs and dairy? I'm sure there's going to be times where I deviate, where I have like a little bit of hummus or like maybe some egg whites here and there. But overall, I'm pretty much comfortable to say I'm good being gluten-free, dairy-free, sugar-free. I don't miss it. I found a new way of living, and it can be delicious and healthful. I make really yummy food. I'm a foodie. You know, when I first started doing this, I can't tell you how depressed I felt. I was like, ew, I have to give up all my stuff, all the good stuff that I like. Which wasn't junk stuff. It was healthy stuff. Like what we call as healthy in society. And I thought to myself, this is just sucks. But I got through it. And now that I've made it to the other side, it's amazing. And I like this food so much better. I like this way of living so much better. And now I understand as I eat, like what food is fueling my body and why and what it's doing to cleanse my liver and to help my digestive system and to help my nervous system. And I'm eating to support myself rather than just what looks good in society or what's low fat or what's healthy or what's high protein. No, I don't eat like that anymore. I eat strictly to support my organs and my system. And it's a completely different way of living. Not just that, but now that I feel glowing and I feel so healthy and my bladder has calmed down and my skin is clear and I'm having this when you go and eat these meals now and you cook like this and you go to sip the celery juice, you feel so good about it. And that truly is high vibrational eating and living. It's not just what you're putting in your body, it's your attitude when you're putting it into your body. So to feel so good about the things that you're doing only helps magnify the healing times 10. If any of you guys, I'm going to do more blogging about celery juice, and that's to come. I'm also going to start, I have been putting together a high vibrational cookbook. It's taking on a whole new life now with these changes I've made on in my life. But I'm going to start doing a blog around that. So check that out. Right now I have a blog. So my site is spiritualmaterialgirl.com. You can work with me. I'm, again, a soul coach, an intuitive advisor. But I also have another site with my online classes, and there's a blog there. It's called Vibe Up, vibup.com. I'll put the links below. And I do have a blog called The Elixir Mixer and a blog that's called Vanity or Vitality. And the Elixir Mixer is talking about self-healing, right? But I wrote this before I went on this journey. So I'm probably going to rewrite this whole script, but I want you to read that one if you're interested. And then read about vanity or vitality so you can understand what's the difference between food or diet and restriction and exercise versus life force energy and vitality and nourishment. So yeah, check that out if you're interested. Thanks for watching this. I hope that this inspires you to try the medical mediums protocol, to try some of this healing for yourself. If you're suffering from anything autoimmune, Crohn's disease, MS, eczema, psoriasis, like big or small acne, big or small, I'm telling you, this is like miracle juice. So remember, it's a lifestyle change though. It's not just like a quick fix, and you've got to give it commitment and dedication. Okay. I love you guys. Happy to share the story with you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Mwah. Bye.